What's up, guys? Tyler here, Western States Farrier Service again. I'm particularly excited about today because this is actually the first horse that I put on my YouTube channel. This is Hugo. And so what I'm excited is to see the result of how we set him up last time and how the growth was affected by that. So to me, that's the biggest tell of how to evaluate your shoeing is when you come back in 6 weeks. I particularly am pretty happy with the result of what we're seeing today. There's an obvious still high-low that we're going to fight, so we're probably going to remain in the very similar package, be it that wedge pad and the flat pad. But if we look in here close and we evaluate from the side profile, we're going to look again at angles, that magical word that we all use and that vets use about angles being this or that. So when we're talking angles, we're looking at our pastern alignment into our hoof capsule, and there, right here, there's a very apparent change. I refer to this as a broken back axis, and so today we're going to hopefully gain enough depth in this foot, or otherwise that we have gained enough depth in this foot over the last 6 weeks, that we can help change this angle for the better and drop this dorsal wall down to realign it with this pastern. Likewise with our high heel foot, I'm hoping that we can get some more progress in reducing the angle or reducing the height of the heel on that one, and then backing the toe up to then remove this dish right here a little bit further than we did last time. So follow along on this shoeing. Like I said, it's probably very similar, but I'm excited to see the bottom of the foot today versus what it looked like from the last time around. All right, let's see, this is cool. This is the neat part right here. Okay, so right off the bat, I can see that we have massive amounts of depth. I assumed that earlier, but my knife can bury into this tip of this frog right here. I love when this happens. This tells me that this foot was of proper length and was happy throughout the cycle because of the depth that we grew. And now if you look in real close to that, this frog is naturally defined right there. It's naturally detached from the sole, so that means that foot or that hoof capsule is functioning properly. It's not being pulled forward because it's fit improperly. As you can see, we still have a massive amount of foot out in front of our coffin joint right there. So our center of rotation is clear back here. We still need more caudal support, but it's a good start. So we're gonna see what kind of depth we can get off this horse. I'm gonna clean some sole out and then take a measurement of the toe. Let's see what we're working with. Four and almost an 8. So that's a good amount of growth. Start conservatively because I want to see our quality of sole as we go. Now already you can see how thick that dorsal wall is out here. So that means I know I can back him up more, just like we did from the last time. That's something to keep in mind when you're trying to shorten a foot up. They shorten up from two different directions. They shorten up from the bottom, and then they shorten up from the top, or in this case, the front right here. So we got to be conscious of that the whole time and make sure that we don't get too much off them from the bottom when we could have taken it from the top. So first order business. Actually, I'll take a measurement to show you how quickly taking it. Okay, so we're at 3 7/8. Now I'm gonna just round up my hoof wall. And I bet you just doing that, we took at least an 1/8 off, if not 3/16. 3/4. We took an 1/8 off of that. I still think we can get a little bit more. We've got decent color here, meaning the quality of sole, but I do feel like we could probably get a little bit more out of it and really correct that angle of that coffin bone.
See, this white line's getting thinner as we get down a little bit closer into that live sole, or it's starting to get a little thinner, which means we're starting to get down into that spot that's where that foot wants to be balanced. And as we can see just on that trim, our balance, our widest points up here now, I mean, we're getting dangerously close to a nice ratio. So I'll take a quick measurement of that and see where we're at. So we're right above 3 5/8. So I'm gonna leave it at that. Go to the other side. Okay, now we're off to the high heel side. Again, I feel like we gained a lot of good depth. Yeah, see, my knife can bury in there. That's a great sign to me. That frog right there just detaches on its own. That's a great sign of a healthy, functioning hoof capsule. We're gonna get a lot of progress out of this horse this time. Okay, so I'm carrying the thought of my measurement from that low heel foot over to this one. I was just on the bottom side of 3 3/4. So I'm going to try and shoot for that over here as well. Now keep in mind, high heel feet are much easier to get short from the bottom in the front half up here because they naturally slough sole out easier on the front half than the high or the low heel. Okay, we're at 4 inches, which is awesome. I'm going to be conservative on my heel height for right now because I can take it later. Now remember, we're shooting for that 3 3/4 mark. Okay, we still have quite a bit out in front of our center of rotation. So we're going to come in here. Bump them back a little bit. Trying to focus our hoof capsule around the center of rotation. Sweet, we got another 1/8 that we could take off of them. Choosing to take this with my knife right here because it's a little more accurate for me than to rasp just that little bit. I tend to roll the toe off with my rasp. And we're just above 3/4, which is nice because we still have a little dish, which means I'm going to want to pull this shoe back a little more than the front right, and that shortens him up just a little bit more. Cool. Okay, I double checked measurements on this foot, and we were 3 3/4. So I'm not going to want to set this shoe too far back. If I want more breakover, I can roll it into the toe. Bring our heels in just a tiny bit. All right. Okay, now our measurement on our front right was 3 3/4. This one was just over 3 3/4. So to account for the difference, I want to actually pull this one off the toe about 1/8 of an inch, or just shy of, just about like right there. Bring my heels in on this one too a little bit. Call it good.
All right, here we are, guys. Final result on Hugo. I was tickled with how this came out today. We still have some ground to make up, but I'm thrilled with what we've accomplished just in one set of shoes, and now we're gonna go on through this next cycle and go to the next. I had some people notice last time I did Hugo, I ran a wedge pad on this front right and a flat on the front left. I elected to do that simply because conformationally this foot over here at the front right is that naturally lower angle, and needed some elevation to match up his palmar angles between his high and his low. I stuck with that program again on this shoeing in hopes that maybe we'll see some ground made up in this next cycle. And who knows, maybe this next round we can go with flat pads all the way across, even if maybe he doesn't even need pads this next round. So we'll see. I was tickled with the progress. Stay tuned, and I'll keep track of Hugo, and we'll see how they turn out over the next 3 or 4 shoeings. So I'm looking forward to it. Like and comment, and let me know what you guys' thoughts are. And thanks for watching.